Evolve has three components: trim, tight and tone. Let's start with trim. This is one of the units or pads that is involved with trim, and there are 6 of these that are placed on the target area, or up to 6 that you can use. This is vacuum assisted radiofrequency. This is where the vacuum is created. The target tissue, the skin, subcutaneous fat, is drawn up into this space here, and then bipolar radiofrequency energy is introduced to the tissue. By using the vacuum, it allows deeper penetration of the RF energy, thereby targeting unwanted fat, causing contraction of the fat, the fibroceptal network, and giving you better contouring. You'll also get a better effect in terms of skin tightening as well. For those of you familiar with Body Effects, as you know, it delivers fantastic results for body contouring, but it does require a lot of effort on the part of the practitioner. So the nice advantage with this is that it's actually employing the same technology as the Body Effects system, but as you can see, it's hands-free, which allows for a better experience for patient and also for therapist. A couple of other things, the priority when you're investing in a new system for your patients is safety, and there are a couple of aspects of this machine which I really love. One, which Sarah has got in her hand, is this patient-controlled button. So if she presses that when the machine's engaged, it will just pause the machine and stop the energy transfer to her abdomen in this case, which means if there's any discomfort or for whatever reason she wants to stop it and the practitioner is not immediately attentive, that can be done, which is a great safety feature and also gives them some reassurance. The other thing is the temperature sensors. And this isn't just about safety, but it's also about clinical effectiveness, which is your next priority after safety, is actually getting the outcomes you want for your patient, which leads to, obviously, higher satisfaction. You'll be familiar with many handheld body contouring devices, and where these involve radiofrequency, we're always aiming to get a certain target temperature, certainly above 40, ideally 41 to 43 degrees. The problem is when you're using a handheld device is, even if you're using a laser-guided thermometer, you may hit the right temperatures in one area, but the other areas are not really quite hitting that temperature. And as you move across, that area is then becoming colder. So you don't have this uniform distribution of heat, and it's certainly not consistent throughout the whole treatment duration. There's no way you can achieve that. With this, the machine is doing all the work for you. You're getting that uniform distribution of heat. The temperature sensors, there's not just one sensor, there's actually individual sensors in each of these pads, which therefore allows you to ensure and gives you confidence and your patient confidence that you're getting an even distribution across the whole target area. That is safer for the patient and also means that you're more likely to get a better clinical outcome at the end of it all. There are 6 of these pads or units that you apply to the target area. In this case, our lovely model was having her abdomen treated, and I've got one of them in my hand, so this would fit into this space just here, and then tightened with a belt. Safety is obviously a key feature with any system that you want to invest in for your patients. And what I love about this system is that there is a little touch button that the patient can be given in their hand. So if they do need to be left for a period of time, they can just pause, i.e. stop the energy being introduced to the target tissue if for any reason they feel uncomfortable or there's any issue. The other safety feature, and indeed it's not just about safety but also links into clinical outcome and effectiveness, is that there are individual temperature sensors leading to each of the pads. And as you know, with RF technology, the key thing is hitting the target temperature. And if you don't hit that temperature, you're not going to stimulate that controlled wound healing response and get that contraction that you require. So with this, because you've got individual temperature sensors, you can be sure that you're getting uniform heating to the target temperature that you require across your whole treatment area. With most machines on the market, as you know, and the ones that I certainly have been used to using, you're manually applying the energy. And so even if you are using a laser-guided thermometer, you can hopefully be reaching the target temperature, but you're then going from a hot zone to a cold zone, and then your hot zone is becoming cold again. This way, you're just getting that uniformity throughout the whole treatment duration. And you're obviously saving the energy and any strain on your therapist's arms as well,
which leads to a better outcome for the patient and for clients.
We've got the temperature guide here, so the machine will tell us as she starts heating up and what we're on. We've set the RF power to 30 millijoules. The cutoff is 42 degrees, so as soon as we hit 42, it's not going to be delivering energy, so we don't burn her. And the treatment time is 15 minutes. The machine will cut out once 15 minutes is complete. So we're just going to start there. And you may be able to hear that noise, and that's the vacuum kicking in there, pulling up the target tissue, and then obviously delivering the RF energy. And for those of you familiar with some of the InMode platforms, those beeps will not be alien to you. So if you can just zoom in here, we can just show the viewers what's going on here. So we've purposely disconnected paddles 4 and 6. So if there was a problem, you weren't aware, if you saw that screen, you'd know something's not right with those two. They're not delivering energy. Here you can see the colour here fits in with 40, 41 degrees. So we're hitting a nice target range here and here, mostly here. And obviously the ones that aren't delivering energy, we've got no colour showing. So that way you can actually interpret what each paddle is actually doing. So we've just talked about trim, and let's recap on that. That's working on deeper tissue, vacuum assisted RF. That doesn't use gel because that would just get sucked up into the device and ruin it. Now we're going to be talking about Tite. For those of you who are familiar with the former on the InMode platform, this is the same technology to that. Topical radio frequency, working on the more superficial tissues, primarily skin tightening, and we've got these electrodes here, positive in the middle and 2 negatives, so you've got energy passing to each one. And there are 8 units or pads that you can apply. So on this sort of area with the abdomen, you can apply all of them. And again, you've got the individual temperature sensors for each one. So in many ways, the principle is the same as the other pads that we just showed you a few minutes ago. Typically you'd run this for at least 30 minutes, but you can do the treatment time for longer. And if you just zoom in here, we can see now the various colours showing on these temperature indicators for each of the 8 pads. And you can see this is the warmest at the moment, number 6 at 39 degrees. 8, 5 are playing a bit of catch up, but you can see that the temperatures are quite clearly marked out here. So now 6 has gone up to 40 degrees. And that's really where we want to be, or ideally above. We've got our cutoff at 43, so we're not going to cause any problems in terms of burns or discomfort. So you've seen trim and Tite, and the third and final component is tone. This is one of the pads for tone, and it's introducing EMS, electrical muscle stimulation, to the target area. And as it suggests, the electrical current is going to depolarize the nerves, which are then going to cause muscle spasm. And I've experienced this, and it feels like a vibration sensation, and that vibration sensation is actually multiple very rapid muscle contractions. In my case, it was the abdomen, as we're treating here, and it does feel like you've done thousands of sit-ups in a very short space of time without really putting any effort in yourself, because the machine does all the work for you. And we talk about multi-level treatment here for body contouring. The trim was for the deep tissue contouring, fat and some skin tightening. Then we had the Tite, which is more for superficial skin tightening, and then the tone is really working on the muscles and toning up the muscles. And so by having access to these 3 different components, what Evolve allows you to do is customize treatment plans for any body shape that walks into your clinic with any given problem. And as you know, every person is going to be different. And some think, oh, it's fat, but actually there's more skin. Some, there's a combination. Some people who are very regular gym goers on a very healthy lifestyle are actually very trim, but may need to work more on the toning. And so by having access to these 3 technologies, you can really give them a customized, tailor-made plan and increase your chances of having a very successful clinical outcome and therefore a happy patient. So we've got the tone pads on now. We've got 2 in use, 1 and 4 as you can see here. We've set a treatment time of 20, but you know that's flexible. And the intensity is 11. Now it does actually go up to 50, but you know anything above 20, 25 is extremely intense. Fairly comfortable model there, yeah, fairly comfortable. But I can assure if I was to put it up a few, then you should really start feeling it. So this is slightly less relaxing on the higher intensities. But what I found when I tried it is, 9 and 10 actually felt quite intense. After a few minutes, I was able to go up, up, and up, and I actually ended up on 25. And I have to say that was very intense. But actually, I want results, and most patients are willing to go through a little bit of mild discomfort if they're going to get those extra results. But if they prefer a more comfortable approach, then you can stay at the lower intensity levels. They'll still get a really good workout of the muscles with some nice toning of that area.